welcome back to our channel. Don't be fooled by what looks perfect at first sight, because in real life, not everything that shines is real. We often rush toward things that look easy, attractive, and successful, only to realize later that appearances can be deeply misleading. If you've ever made a quick decision and later regretted it, this message is for you. Stay with us, because today you'll learn a powerful truth about life, choices, and why patience can save you from your biggest mistakes. Sometimes in life, what we see is not always the truth. What looks perfect from the outside is not always perfect on the inside. We often get attracted to things that look shiny, fast, and easy, but not everything that looks good is actually good for us. Many people make decisions based only on what they see at first glance and don't take time to think deeper or understand reality, and because of this they often end up choosing the wrong path, losing time, energy, and opportunities due to quick decisions. The mind can easily be fooled by appearance if we are not careful, because what looks simple in the beginning is often more complicated in reality, and what looks easy today may demand patience, effort, and sacrifice tomorrow. Many people regret not slowing down and observing things properly before acting, realizing too late that appearances were only the surface, not the truth. Real understanding comes when we stop reacting quickly and start thinking deeply, and when we learn to question what we see, we protect ourselves from wrong choices. Sometimes the biggest lessons in life come from mistakes we wish we never made, but those mistakes slowly teach us how to see beyond the surface, and we begin to understand that patience is not weakness but wisdom in action. Every delay, pause, and careful decision helps us avoid future regret, and over time we realize that real value is not in what shines but in what stays strong when everything else fades. That is when our thinking changes and we stop being impressed easily, start choosing with awareness instead of emotion, and stop rushing into things just because they look attractive at first sight. Instead, we learn to observe, wait, and understand what is really behind the surface, and this change slowly shapes our mindset, making us more careful with our choices and patient with our journey. Slowly we realize that not everything is meant to be chased quickly. Some things must be understood deeply before stepping forward, and clarity is not something we find instantly but something we build over time. As clarity grows, confusion loses its power, and we are no longer lost in attractive opportunities that come our way. Instead we trust understanding more than appearance, exploring life with awareness, separating temporary attraction from real value, and making decisions aligned with long-term peace and growth. Over time we understand that not every opportunity is meant for us, even if it looks perfect, and some things enter our life just to test our patience and judgment. If we rush we lose clarity, but if we wait and observe, truth reveals itself naturally, and silence and patience often show more truth than quick reactions ever can. We build a mindset that is not easily shaken by appearance, life becomes more balanced and less chaotic, and we stop chasing every shining thing, focusing instead on what adds real value. Our decisions become stable, based on understanding not impulse, and we respect the process even when it is slow because lasting results are never built in a hurry. Growth is not always visible, sometimes the most important changes happen quietly within us, making us wiser without loud success or sudden transformation. We stop feeling the need to prove everything quickly, trust the process, stay consistent, and realize that comparison steals peace and clouds judgment because others' highlights are never the full story. When we stop comparing, we focus on our own path, understand every journey has its own timing, and move forward without distraction. We begin asking before decisions whether something is real value or just surface attraction, and this habit changes how we think and act, making us more intentional with time and energy, wasting less and growing more. Awareness becomes a habit, life feels more in control, we respond instead of react, and even in uncertainty we pause and often find answers in that pause. Slowly this way of living builds a peaceful mindset, and in the end we understand that not everything that shines is meant for us and not everything that looks perfect is real. Life is not about rushing toward what looks attractive but choosing what is truly right, and when we stop being impressed by appearances we start seeing life clearly, finding peace, direction, and real growth. And in this stage of understanding, we begin to move differently in life. We no longer get easily influenced by temporary emotions or fast opportunities that come and go. Instead, we take time, we observe, and we allow things to reveal their true nature before we decide. Because we realize that real clarity never comes from speed, it comes from patience, reflection, and experience. Slowly, our decisions become more stable, our mind becomes calmer, and our path becomes more meaningful. And as this mindset grows stronger, we start to understand that every situation doesn't need an immediate reaction. Some moments are meant to be experienced slowly, allowing time to show what is real and what is not. We stop forcing answers and start allowing clarity to develop naturally. With this change, life feels less confusing and more balanced. We become more confident in our choices, not because everything is easy, but because we have learned to trust patience and awareness. And in this calm approach, we find something powerful, inner peace and a clearer direction for our future. And when we reach this level of understanding, we also become more selective with what we allow into our lives. We stop giving attention to everything that looks interesting for a moment and start focusing only on what truly adds value. Not every opportunity, not every path, and not every attraction deserves our energy. Instead of chasing everything, we begin to invest in what feels stable, meaningful, and aligned with our long-term growth. This is where real maturity begins, when choices are no longer based on impulse, but based on awareness and purpose. And with this maturity, we start noticing a powerful shift in our life. Things that once used to confuse us no longer have the same control over our mind. We no longer feel rushed by external pressure or distracted by what others are doing. Instead, we stay grounded in our own direction. We understand that growth is not about speed, but about consistency and clarity. And in this calm understanding, we slowly build a life that feels more stable, more intentional, and more aligned with who we truly want to become. And as this awareness becomes deeper, we also learn one important truth: everything that enters our life does not stay forever, and everything that leaves is not always a loss. Some things are meant to teach us, some are meant to test us, and some are meant to redirect us toward a better path. When we accept this, we stop resisting every change and start trusting the process more. Life becomes less about control and more about understanding. And in that understanding, we find a quiet strength that helps us move forward with more peace, patience, and clarity. And in this deeper state of awareness, we begin to trust ourselves more than outside noise. We stop overthinking every situation and start listening to our inner clarity. Because we realize that confusion often comes from rushing, but peace comes from patience. So instead of reacting quickly, we choose to pause, reflect, and respond with intention. And this simple shift changes everything. Our decisions become wiser, our mind becomes calmer, and our life slowly starts moving in a direction that feels more meaningful and real.